bring in the Prime Minister, Dickon Mitchell. Thanks so much for your time. How bad is it?
Thank you for having me. It is really bad. In the case of Carriacou and Petite Martinique, which are two of the small islands that make up the tri-island state of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique, it's complete devastation. Almost 98% of all housing destroyed or damaged, or all public infrastructure damaged or destroyed. We're talking significant damage to our health centers, hospital, schools, other commercial buildings, significant damage to the coast, total destruction of the agricultural crops, total destruction of our vegetation, mangroves. I can go on and on. The power grid is completely destroyed. The communication systems are completely destroyed. And so it's been, certainly in the case of Carriacou and Petite Martinique, total devastation. In the case of Grenada, which is the larger and main island, the northern part of the island has seen significant damage as well. Major damage to agricultural crops, significant loss of rooftops, significant loss of public infrastructure, and telecoms and power also went down. So yes, I describe it as Armageddon-like, and in a very short period of time, in a matter of a couple hours, people's lives and livelihoods have been significantly changed for the worse, I'm afraid.
How difficult has it been to get aid to those who need it? Those who are in desperate need. You talked about, the communications grid, the electricity grid being 98% destroyed. Of course, you got to get in there and help people. Talk to us about that.
Right. So on mainland Grenada, it's been a little easier because once we were able to clear the debris and so on the road, we've been able to get to our citizens in the northern part of the island. But in the case of Carriacou and Petite Martinique, it has been a lot more challenging because with a lack of communication and with rough seas in the initial aftermath of the hurricane, it actually delayed our ability to go into the island and provide even just the damage assessment. So we've started on Tuesday, and since then we've basically been able to get relief supplies to the island via boats, and that is continuing. I toured the island on Tuesday afternoon via helicopter, and from the air, it's devastating to look at. We are going to be ramping up our relief efforts on the weekend by doing a relief surge, by bringing up hundreds of volunteers from Grenada to help with continuing the distribution of food, water, hygiene and sanitation kits to our citizens, because the reality is that people don't have anywhere to live, essentially. And so we have to try and do temporary accommodations for the large buildings that may have withstood part of the impact, for example, schools, churches, and turn them into ongoing shelters for the immediate future. And with the economy destroyed, all of the food, all of the water, basic amenities are going to have to be brought in. So this is going to be an ongoing process that is certainly likely to last for the next 90 to potentially 120 days, just to make sure that we can keep the population well looked after. We've also started evacuating senior citizens, pregnant women, and other vulnerable groups of the population to Grenada, because we obviously don't want to stress an already overburdened and collapsed system. So we are going to continue the relief efforts, but it is something that is going to have to be sustained certainly for weeks ahead.
As you know, Canada, in particular Toronto, has a large population of people originally from Grenada. What can they do, Mr. Prime Minister, to help out?
Well, I think two things. We've indicated that financial donations and contributions are welcome, because we are going to have to buy food and buy basic supplies for the citizens of Carriacou and Petite Martinique for quite a long time. So they can donate. There's a pay.gov GD site that they can click on to make online payments, or they can wire funds in to help with the relief effort. If they wish to donate supplies, they can do so as well. They can ship those supplies to Grenada. They can address it to the National Disaster Management Agency, that's NADMA. Once that is done, those supplies will be earmarked for the hurricane relief effort. So those are two sort of immediate actions that they can take. One, financial donations, and two, the sending of supplies. Financial donations are perhaps easier and more straightforward, and we can certainly assure them their designated accounts which are designed for this. And they can go on the government's website, or the Ministry of Finance. As I said, it's pay.gov.gd, and make their financial contributions. If they wish, however, to ship supplies in, we certainly would welcome dry goods, goods that have a long shelf life and that don't necessarily need refrigeration, because at this point in time, there's no power. So any canned goods, dry goods would be welcome. Hygiene kits, sanitation kits, tarpaulins, batteries, small generators, all of those relief efforts would be welcome.